Hi everyone, welcome to NoFo Chat, November Foxtrot. How are we all doing?
Yo. Live and kicking. Just sort my sound out a bit.
We've just lost Paul.
Typical standard.
Back in. Yeah. So I hope everyone's well. By all means, drop us a hello in the chat. We can comment back and see who's watching. Send our love. Yeah, Lance, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Good, mate. Good. Yeah, standard, working, usual. Sorting some bits and bobs out. Trying to do the £10 challenge, which I think I've successfully done, but we'll wait and see.
Hi, Rage Foe. Nice to see you. So we went airsofting on Sunday, didn't we?
Let's talk about
airsofting. Yes. Hi, Sean.
It was good,
Wayne.
mate.
Sorry, Miss Wayne. How was it? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was there, so let's not just.
Paul was there. It was all for you, wasn't it? It was you. It was your birthday boy.
I think you
moan about this one not turning up. Then all of a sudden he turns up and I get fucked off.
Well, there you go. See, that'll be a lesson to you.
Now we're just talking about
that'd be a lesson, young man.
We're just talking about our little excursion on Sunday. We went out, all had a little bit of a skirmish day, didn't we?
We did, mate. Yeah, and I must admit, it was long overdue. So I think I don't know. I was thinking back now. I think it must be February since I was out last, properly, like as in play. I've been down to the site, but mostly having a social and doing a bit of marshalling. But other than that, it's proper kit on and out there, and in all of the new gear that I've got as well, and the rail, the claw gear rail colours that I've chosen to go with, and things like that, and then just sort of getting out there doing manoeuvres, not really targeting the objective, but just following people. Do you know what I mean?
I formed a children's army. It was great. Me and about 3 kids went and stormed this small fort. It was amazing. They all died.
It's cannon fodder, isn't it? You've got to be done. But yeah, it was good. And we had the social aspect on it as well. I think what it does is, it's very easy to slip into a state of not going, and going, the next battle sim, the next MilSim, skirmishes are, not interested. But to say, when we said on last one, Marden aligned me a little bit and said you just need to treat it for what it is, quit your moaning and get out there and put your gear to the test and, fire some BBs off and make sure your guns are good.
I mean, that's it. You've got to take what you can at the minute.
Exactly, and we did it, and it was good. I met with you guys, which was great. Met with some of the other Punishers, which was nice. Had a catch up with Smithy as well, and some of the other team there. Obviously met Mark and some of the others for the first time, and caught up. Had an interesting conversation with Tony in the outdoor latrine. Mr. Bassett, but for a trucker, that's a worrying.
It's lucky we're at night time, mate.
Yeah. But no, it was really, really good, and it kind of makes you feel a bit of a thirst on. There was a lot of players, but for the majority of it, a lot of them took their hits. To be fully sold out on rentals, I should imagine they've probably got quite a few rental guns at that site. To be sold out on those as well, and still have people mostly taking their hits on a skirmish when people are known to not really give a shit. I think it was really, really good. So I really enjoyed it. It was nice.
Cool. So, talk about feet. Moving on from food last week to cheesy feet this week.
Scratchy sniff session.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Come on, Paul. Hit us with it.
Yeah, cool then. What you got?
What mine? I'd say that they're a camembert. So I've got a very, I don't know, it's not a very sexy setup, to be fair. So socks wise, if we start with a bit that really get close to your feet, I literally have just a pair of these, I don't know where the camera is, heat holders, socks. And you can get these from anywhere, to be fair. You know what I mean? They're like your industrial type shop things, or your army surplus. And then in the cooler weather, I've just got a thinner pair of black thermals. So, just a pair of socks to keep your feet warm. Nothing super special. They fill your boot out a little bit. Take the gaps away from them. And then for my boot that I roll with, and I'll apologise up front because they're not the cleanest.
We all went out on Sunday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So these are, yeah, they're all right. These are the lower Zephyr GTX.
Nice, very
boot.
nice.
So I know we're not into name dropping or anything like that, but I got these from UK Tactical probably 2 years ago. Remember, Brewdog.
Not yet a sponsor.
So I got these from UK Tactical a couple of years ago, and I think a wise person once told me, if you're going to invest in your kit, invest in your boots, purely because, you know, if your feet are blistered up and your feet are soaked and you're having a hideous day, the rest of it's just going to go south with it. So I've got these in a tan, and to be fair, I've never really put them through the paces at somewhere. I mean, you'd hear people talk about the Sterling events, like the trees, where you're kind of knee deep in water. I've never really put them to the test like that, but for Apocalypse, these haven't let me down yet. Yeah, they're like putting slippers on, but with all of the protection that you need and the grip. I mean, excuse the mud, but as you can see, these are circa sort of over 2 years old now.
Yeah, good mate, still spot on.
And they've got some really good grip on them. And they are super duper comfy. And yeah, they hold the water out. They're Gore-Tex anyway, but I've not really, you know, immersed my feet in a puddle to see how effective that Gore-Tex is.
I think as well, Paul, over the course of the day, I mean, especially if you're working through like a long brush or grass or anything like that, you will eventually you'll be drawing moisture off of any of the plant and vegetation around you. So although you haven't submerged your feet fully in water, you're still going to get the surface water soaking through the boot. And if you still got dry feet by the end of the day with that, I mean, it's safe to say that they're a good solid waterproof boot, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think I paid about $130 for these. Which, as an initial outlay, you think, oh, it's quite a bit, but over 2 years of gaming in them, you know, you break that down to, you know, even if it was 65 quid a year, it's you know, for what you pay to go out and play, to have your day spoilt by your feet being soaked, you know, is exactly where you don't want to be. So they're my boot of choice. I did have a cheap pair that I started off first of all in. When I first started playing 3 years ago, just a cheap pair that I got off of eBay. And to be fair, after day one, you know, I was like a crippled up old sort of, you know, my toes were all knackered with blistered up feet.
And I loved good, mate.
The day was brilliant, but my feet were killing me. So those were the way forward. I know we're probably going to get onto it in a bit, and I will seek your advice on this. But in the time that I've had these boots, I've let them dry off. I've taken a stiff brush to them. I've got the screwdriver in the bottom to get all the crap out the bottom. But the one thing that I've never done to these, but I've never treated these with anything. So I've had them for 2 years now, and they've had I've not put Fab Seal on them. I've not done anything, and I think because they're like almost feel like a bit suede-y. So I'm if it was a leather boot, you can buff them up, you can do whatever you like. But I'm really not sure what I need to do with these. But as you say, I'm running through who am I kidding? I'm not running at all. I'm walking through the woods. I'm walking through the woods in these, or I'm sat down doing obs or whatever it is we're doing. You know, my feet are warm, my feet are dry. And with me out of boots show a bit of wet, but they've not let anything in yet. So I don't know whether it's something, and I'll take advice. I don't know who's on the chat. If we've got anyone in there, I would take advice from anyone.
I'm not a foot expert or boot expert. I've always opted on the basis if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because I mean, I don't know, some of the chemicals and stuff on there. It's possible that maybe adding something else to it might affect the first layer of something that you've got on there, perhaps.
I think it might, I'd hate for it to. My only concern is I don't know if they rot. So if the stitching would rot where I've not done anything to them.
That's it. Yeah.
But then, you know, over 2 years, what would you do? Well, I'd only go straight out and buy another pair of them, because what is, like you say, what isn't broke, you don't fix, do you? So if they went south tomorrow, I'd go straight out and buy another pair because I know that they're like putting a pair of comfy tracksuit bottoms on.
Yeah, I mean, it's it because you know what you know, then, didn't you? I mean, if you've been comfortable with them in 2 years, no point going, I'll try a different brand now. There's no point. You know, you found a brand that works for you and it's performed well, so go with it. You know, stick with it. But
the only difference.
I mean, I don't. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, go on, mate.
I was just going to say with suede. I mean, I've never had suede like a suede covered boot. I've always either had leather or like a Gore-Tex Kevlar-y type material. So I wouldn't know how to treat a suede boot as such if it is like a suede sort of type material, like moleskin-y type material. I don't know. I wouldn't know about that, mate, to be honest with you.
I'll let you stroke them next time we're out. You can see, but they're
well. To be fair, I have stroked them before, but you were asleep at the time, so
that's probably about right. Yeah, as I say, and if I started venturing off, you know, as we branch out on a MilSim front, if we do start looking at some of the Sterling events that are going to be a bit more hardcore, then obviously I'd probably second pair up for you know, something a bit more like you say the sort of British Army standard type boot, you know, something that you know is going to withstand the elements 100%. At the minute, the confidence has never been rocked in these, but I'd hate to be away for a weekend only to be sort of having to walk into a bit of a stream or something and then, you know, got a booty.
Well, I mean, judging on the price you paid for them, mate, I mean, obviously, you know, price isn't everything, but it is a bit of an indicator, isn't it? And now they've performed so far, I mean, I'd be quite confident in taking them away for a long weekend or 36-hour, sort of 48-hour op sort of thing, and be quite confident in them.
You can walk all day in them as well.
That's a good thing. That's what you need, mate.
I had a comment here from Ragefile. Once Gore-Tex loses its water repellent, it's pretty much had it. Clean them and dry them in warm room should last about 5-ish years.
Perfect. There you go.
Top man.
Well, I've learned something tonight.
So there's no treatment there then, Ragefile. You wouldn't say for treatments for any Gore-Tex material on footwear as such. I mean, I've Fab Seal Gold a Gore-Tex jacket now and again, but I mean for footwear, I wasn't sure if you'd had any treatment to it or
as I say with those, I just brush them off.
I always wondered, you know, Deichmann, I think you can take, like when you buy a pair of boots in there, they have like a thing that you can put them in and then they waterproof them in there. And I always wondered if you could just like take a pair of boots in there and go, oh, can you just whack some of that on there?
You can. They do offer the service. You can do it.
So I didn't know, maybe you could take an old pair of boots in there, maybe. You know, I don't know, just as a thought.
Oh, suits you. Service your boots. Oh, sir. Nice, sir. Oh, dry feet,
for the
sir.
Weekend, sir. Oh.
Rage Files come back and said, I've tried it, none of them have really worked. So
excellent. There you go.
Yeah.
The man that knows. He should be on here talking about boots.
Might have to get him on at some point. He has been an avid listener.
He has very much so.
Say listener, contributor as well.
Yeah.
Lance, you've got loads of boots behind you.
Oh, I've got a choice selection, mate. So, I mean, when I first started out, I bought a pair of Combat UK MTP canvasy, zip up the side, looked really cool. Didn't really know what I was buying, jobbies. And to be fair, they lasted really, really well, and I was quite impressed with how long they did actually last. But then sort of moved up, and I got, excuse the dirt, I wore them Airsoft Sunday, so forgive me. These are the Altberg Defenders. Whoa. So they're sort of standard, they were standard British issue Army. I don't know if they are anymore, but these are basically, I rely on these for my winter boot because of how high they are, how high they sit.
Thigh high.
Thigh high. Yeah.
Can you blow up Lance's screen?
Yeah, I was just seeing if I could do that.
That's you. So there we go. So that's the Altberg Defender, fully waterproof, inner stitch tongue. So the stitching of the tongue goes all the way up to the side there. So you could, in theory, submerge in water to there, which I have done, and I've never had any leaks through these at all. And like you say, stiff brush, give them because they're leather as well, you can put some clear dubbing on them, give them a rub, the dubbing. And they've been absolutely solid, great boot. And like I said, as soon as the winter months start coming in, that's the boot I go to. And they're like Paul said with his ones, these are like trainers for me, really comfortable. Obviously, I haven't covered the miles that your serving British soldier would cover in them, so they might have a different opinion on them to me. But for what I do in them, they've been really, really good, and I'm really happy with them as well. They're so comfortable, and you can get inner soles that are like a softer sports sole that go inside. Variety of sizes, not only like your 8s, 9s, and 10s, but the width of the internal heel and things like that. You can get all that changed in them, and great reliable boot. So that is my winter boot, which I go to. There it is. And then I've got my summer boot or spring boot, which is the bit more up the top end, is the Aku Pilgrim GTX, the MOD versions, which are like running in slippers. These are gorgeous boots, these are. So that's the Aku Pilgrim, full Gore-Tex, double lined, so submergible, obviously up to wherever. Breathable, don't get your feet hot in the summer, and they're, like I said, nice and light, very, very flexible, but very, very strong as well at the same time. And they're the Aku Pilgrims. They've got the Vibram sole as well on them. But yeah, again, another great boot, super duper comfortable. And I haven't actually had to break them in at all either. I've worn them from brand new, and my feet haven't rubbed, no sores, no blistering or anything like that. They've been absolutely fine. So yeah, and they're sort of like the 150-ish sort of mark. Retail price. I've looked online, and in the ballpark figure about 150 for the Aku Pilgrims, and the Ortberg Defenders. You can pick them up on eBay. A really good second-hand pair for 35-40 quid if you don't want to bust the bank with your boots. But like I've always said, look after with Airsoft. Look after your feet, look after your eyes. So don't scrimp on your footwear or your eye protection. That's the two things that I'd say never scrimp on. So, but then if you're getting a pair of Ortberg Defenders for 40 quid, I don't think you're scrimping at all, because they're a tried and tested boot and they work really well. And the
Nathan was just saying about the sealskins. Sorry, mate. In the comments, you were saying about wearing a pair of sealskin socks underneath. So if your feet do get wet, then you've got the
sealskins there. I've been reliably informed about sealskins, which I'll talk about in a little while. But I just wanted to cover this last pair I've got here, which I bought in Millets, and these are purely for like the bushcrafting and sort of general walking. And they're just a Peter Storm waterproof hiking boot, and these were about 40 quid or £45, and they're absolutely brilliant. They're so light, and they're probably the lightest out of the three boots. These are the lightest to wear. Very similar in size to the Aku Pilgrim. Got the two of them together there like that. You know, they're sort of like just above the ankle, sort of maybe sitting just above the ankle, around the Achilles sort of area. But yeah, another great boot. Again, if you don't want to spend out massive amounts of money, you know, I'll wear these regularly, taking the dog out for a stroll over the forest and that, and they've never been a problem for me. So there are lots of options out there, guys, to look at. But it's whatever works for you, really, at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my little selection.
Just made me think a minute ago. One thing I've always said: look after your eye, bro. Look after your boots. It's like Trigger, isn't it? Dustman always says
7.
Look after your broom. And your broom will look after you. No,
was that
just
7?
look after your broom.
That must be an age thing.
Don't worry, Paul. I know what you're talking about, mate. Don't worry about it.
So I've had this broom 20 years. It's had 7 new handles and 14 new heads.
That's it. He got an award, didn't he?
He did got a medal for it. I'll have to send you that one, 9 volt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, young whippersnapper up there. He doesn't know what we're talking about, mate.
So what do you wear under then? You talk about socks. You were going to.
So I was going to say, I'm glad you said.
I'm super keen, because the reason I ask is that so Nathan was talking about sealskins. I've been looking at them, and you know, any sort of feedback's quite helpful. So
if I'm brutally honest, in the summer months, I'll wear a pair of sports socks, or just a regular pair of thickish sort of socks in the summer months, and that's all good. Winter time, again, I'm not plugging companies, but Decathlon, if you go down their hunting section aisle or fishing aisle, you'll find these, which, I mean, I cover a lot of ground working on the Network Rail and the Underground, and these are made by Solonac. I think it's Solonac, trying to pronounce it, and they're probably the best hard-wearing socks I've ever bought. I buy myself a new pair for work every year, because I do wear holes through them, because they're on every night. But these are fantastic. They are a great pair of socks. They are Solonac, Decathlon, for winter months, even throughout the whole year. If you're regularly wearing boots and you're working in, like, you have to wear steel toe caps for work or anything. But those socks are absolute godsends. They've been absolutely perfect. But for me, Airsoft in summer months, just a pair of sports socks, or a thickish pair of black socks I wear. With the sealskins, which I've got here, now I was actually talking to a former serving soldier today regarding these, because I'll be brutally honest, I haven't used these yet, and the reason for that being was when I got them, I put them on at home, as you do, mincing around in the living room with the catwalk, and I left them on for about 20 minutes, and my feet were minging wet through with sweat, and I was like, I don't like these. So these haven't been worn. These are pretty brand new, basically. So I spoke to this guy today.
I don't think they're brand new if they're ringing with sweat. I think
they're not anymore. They're not anymore, granted. But I spoke to a guy today, and he said, yeah, the actual sealskin socks, what you do is, say you were doing an assault across the river, and you actually got gipping wet through with water, obviously. and your boots were soaked, your socks that you had on were soaked. He said what you'd do is once you cleared the water hazard, you ditch your socks that you got on, dry your feet, whack a new pair of socks on, and then you put these over the top. And what these would do is they would draw the moisture out of your boot into these socks, but they wouldn't penetrate your new socks that you've got on underneath these. If you follow me.
Good shout. That's a top tip, isn't it?
So what they would do, in theory, so my hand is my foot. I've just gone through a river. My battery is low. Gone through a river, soaking wet. Take these wet socks off. I put a new sock on. My boot's soaking wet inside, so I whack it in the sealskin sock. That goes inside my wet boot. The moisture within the boot gets soaked into the sock. Now, whether there's a triple layer or double layer, but these the moisture inside the boot soaks into these, but not into your new dry sock. That's in theory how it works. But having said that, a lot of the guys who I've spoken to and been reliably informed, sometimes they don't work. If they're brand new, they should work. That's what they should do. But if they're not and they're a little bit worn, what the guys tend to do is carry 2 pairs of them. And what they would do is they'd ditch the white normal standard issue sock or whatever it is they're wearing. They'd just whack a sealskin on, get the boot as dry as possible. When they get back to their harbour area, obviously take it off, dry the feet, powder your feet, put a new pair of socks on. And then once they go back out on patrol, they'd have a second pair of these in their Bergens. They'd get them out, whack them on over the top, and that would draw... I mean, these would draw about 50% of the moisture out the inside of the boot. So with 2 pairs of these, you should be able to get your boots dry internally. So they'd whack the second pair of these on, go out on their second patrol, whatever it is, and by the time that's done, their boots internally should be dry. Then they can whack them down. The wet ones, they can chuck them down the bottom of their bivvy bag, and then your body heat will dry them out in 12 hours, and they'll be dry again, ready to go. So that's the idea behind sealskin socks. They're not to be worn straight away. Don't put them on straight away and go out on a patrol, because that's not what they're made for. They're made for if you do go into water and you need to get your boots and your kit and your feet dry again. That's where these come into play. It's where they come into their own. They're by no means an everyday sock at all. So don't think of them as an everyday sock. I've been informed by instructors and that they're not. That's not what they're designed to do. So just to put that out there.
So you just a second ago alluded to powder in your feet, routinely or whatever it is. So in your kit, do you carry like powder with you in your standard? So if you was doing like a 36-hour jobby up at APOC or at Longmoor or something like that, that's with you in your bag, and you apply some on throughout the weekend. That's
it, mate. Yeah, just as soon as you get back to your fob or your harbour area, and you've got that 20 minutes, half an hour, just loosen your boots off. Even if they've been sweaty, minging all day long, or they have got wet, dry your feet off. Proper dry them off as well. They've got to be proper dry, towel dry. I always carry a little towel which I've had for about 20 years. I got free with an Angling Times magazine. I've got a little green towel, which I've still got it now. It's my foot towel now. So I'll give my feet a good dry off and then powder them up in between your toes, all that, and then it just freshens them up a bit. Stops them chafing and rubbing and re-energizes the old tootsies.
Nice.
I mean, on the subject actually of like medicines and stuff like that, zinc oxide tape's quite good for blisters. It's something I was doing some wild camping. It comes in it's like a cloth tape. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any with me, but it's in like a cloth tape roll. I think you can get like a couple quid off of eBay. But basically, it's like a preventative measure. So firstly, it stops boots and socks and things rubbing on your feet to start with, because it's providing that membrane between the two. But there's something to do with the zinc oxide as well. Apparently, it just helps stop blistering. Now, I did some wild camping. I did, it was effectively 48 hours on Dartmoor. And I didn't blister once with this stuff on. Now, I blistered terribly with any kind of long hikes or anything like that beforehand. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I had a combination of new boots as well. So, yeah. But I always now wear zinc oxide tape on my feet. Whenever I go a 48-hour MilSim, if I take my socks off, they're just wrapped. They look like they're wrapped in duct tape, basically. So, yeah.
Well, they say duct tape for verrucas as well, wouldn't they? Put a duct tape around it every day for a week, and the verruca's gone. Tried it with my son, actually, and it completely disappeared. Wasted 60, 70 quid on the bloody, whatever it is, foot doctor.
Bazooka.
Yeah, and then £5 roll of duct tape, just whacked a little patch of that on it, put a plaster over the top, and changed it 3 or 4 times a day for a week. Took it off, gone. So duct tape kills verrucas.
So you mentioned about going back to the powder and that sort of stuff, foot care. So in regards to your team, so your Punisher team,
that's better.
Is it something that they're routinely doing, or as one I see, do you actively go around prompting people with your foot care or is it something that your guys just do, or are you kind of just let them get on with it? It's their feet, their world.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal preference, really. I mean, it's something that I do. I'm sort of guessing that the guys look after their feet. I mean, the amount of ops we've done, well, I say ops, Christ, weekends away. That's terrible, isn't it? The amount of weekends away together we've done, mincing around the forest. I mean, I've never had people complaining that their feet, I can't go out, my feet are absolutely screwed. You know, it's usually I'm absolutely dead on my feet for the amount of tabbing or moving about we've been doing all day long. So I need to chill for a little bit. And it's just like, yeah, right, fair one. You know, I'm not going to make you go out if you're fatigued and this, that, and the other. But I've never had someone say, I can't move, my feet are actually in pieces or anything like that at all. Yep. So I'm guessing the guys look after their feet. But again, Paul, like you said, mate, you know, it's rare in an airsoft event that I've been to that you'd have to cross a river or you could potentially come into the chance of fully submerging up to your knees, at least in water. So, I mean, there's obviously always that chance there, possibly, but I mean, we've never come across it yet. So
I have admittedly on one event where I fell in a hole. It wasn't through choice, but yeah, I've been in water up to my ankle, up to my thighs before. Yeah, that was quite wet.
I think Bramley, is it Bramley? I think that has some water obstacles within it that people do. So I've seen BattleSim photographs and that sort of thing. People that have gone to Bramley with Legion. You do see a few of them where they're patrolling, walking down the middle of a river.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for photograph opportunities, it'd be immense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'd be getting your seal skins out for that one.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But like I said, it's another site I'd like to go to, but unfortunately not been able to visit yet due to this bloody virus that's going around.
I don't think they MilSim there, do they? I think if they're doing an event series, yeah, I think they might do the actual MilSims. They'll do at Longmoor, but then other parts of the story they do at Bramley. So if it's like we need to go and take the munitions from whatever, Bramley's got a load of old disused buildings and warehouses and all that. And then they play that aspect of the story, and then it comes to the Gladius ones, for example, where then they do it's more of it over the weekend or whatever it might be.
Right, Mike.
But it does look good, Bramley.
I was just going to Rage Files jump to it again. Try climbing tape as well for when or if you get blisters. Also, walking socks tend to be double layered to help prevent blisters or wear really thin pair of socks underneath. So. It's good advice around. I mean, the fundamental thing is, I know a lot of people I spoke to about this episode, they were saying, "Oh, what are you going to talk about feet for that long for?" But there's a lot of things around that. You know, it's not just a good pair of boots. You know, it's obviously looking after them, post-care, pre-care, things like gaiters as well. Like I know we haven't really touched on gaiters, but gaiters are really good just to kind of keep the long grass and stuff from getting the top of your socks wet and things, and like the bottom of your trousers. Because at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to comfort a little bit, doesn't it? Because we're not soldiers. You know, we're there to have a little bit of a fun game in the woods. You know?
But I mean, essentially, you're still potentially covering quite a lot of ground throughout the day. You're on your feet. I mean, it's not like you can take a load off and just sit down in a comfy chair for a couple of hours. You are on your feet, either squatting, kneeling, anything like that. So, like we say, a good pair of boots obviously is essential, but there is a lot that goes in with it. Making sure the boots, you look after them. You know, if it's whatever treatment you have to give them afterwards, whether it's dubbing or a good polish up and then dull them down after
Knitwax. Oh, Knitwax. That takes me back to scouting, man.
But yeah, I mean, there's loads of different elements to it, really, isn't there? Than just like, put boots on, put socks on, put boots on, go walkies.
Yeah, it's one thing that will screw your weekend, isn't it?
It will do, mate. Yeah, because once you've got that blister and you keep pressing and it keeps rubbing and rubbing, it's just going to bleed and bleed and bleed, and then you'll be, I can't do it, and you screwed yourself then because you haven't prepped properly for your footwear and that. So. Look after your feet. Your feet will look after you. Yeah? Go on, Mike. What you got, mate?
Right. Well, I've thrown out my first pair of boots because they were proper cack. So I'm going to talk about the second pair of boots that I bought first. So I didn't actually buy these. These were supplied to me through work. They are a sight boot. They have a proper steel sole in the base and steel toe caps, and they weigh quite a bit, completely unnecessarily. I've also broken these the first time I wore them airsofting because I crouched down. Basically, I can't do it by hand, but you know when you crouch down, that bit of your foot kind of goes flat. I've actually broken the steel plate in here. I heard it crack. I crouched down, it was horrendous. And I was like, oh, this brand new pair of boots is gone already. But I mean, sight boots, I'm not going to be funny about it. I mean, they are designed for hard wearing, out and about most of the day. I wouldn't necessarily recommend these for airsoft, but if you're looking for something a little bit budget, it's not a bad shout to look at. Having said that, though, so this was actually like 120 quid pair of boots through work. I got a pair of Hakes. So apologies, these are filthy because of Sunday. I got a pair of Hakes. These are high top Hakes, I believe. High liability apparently. I got these for £25 from a military surplus shop in Maidstone called Semaphore. Highly recommend visiting there. They've got loads of these. They were second hand, obviously, and they were in fairly good nick before I got them. They're a little bit less so now. But I have trekked through Dartmoor in these. I have done, these have properly served me well, and I have never had any problems with these at all. Now, having said that, I bought a second pair of these, thinking, oh, these are bulletproof, definitely going to have these. Bought the second pair, wore them for 5 minutes down the road, and immediately blistered up, unable to walk for the next week. So I don't know if there's a difference in the make of them. These actually have a tab off the back, and the other ones don't. So I'm assuming that they're actually a different make. So I need to double check that. But these specific ones with that little tab at the back are brilliant. So if you've got a little tab, I highly recommend it.
And have they got a model number in them or anything?
They do have a model number. These are, I'm not going to read it all out because it's the proper NSN number. These are made in 2016, so they're not that old. But I say, these are absolutely bulletproof. I have never had a problem with these at all. And it's that classic, if you find a good pair of boots, you're going to live by them. That's exactly if these ever rot or die on me, then I'm definitely going to try and invest in a pair of these. But I just need to make sure I get this pair and not the other pair that caused major issues.
I wonder if it's obviously if they're military issue, Mike, whether the actual sizing is by chance perfect for your feet. Not only probably are you a size 9 or whatever it is, but like I said earlier about the width and how narrow the boot is. Whether they've got like I know you can get like a size 9 wide or a size 9.
Yeah,
small.
So these are size 10. I'm actually a size 9 shoe.
Right, okay.
I tend to be a little bit unique in what I wear. So I wear about 2 pairs of like normal thin cotton socks. Right. And then I usually wear like the hiking socks. I just bought a pack of them off of Amazon. They're really, really thick hiking socks. And that's generally what I wear majority of the time. Right. Waterproofing wise, the only thing I've ever really done on top of that is just wear a pair of gaiters just to kind of protect the top of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't specifically buy a size up. Rage Files just come in and said, do you buy your boots in the size for the weekend events or do you go half size up to allow for foot swelling? I didn't specifically buy a size up. I'll be honest, I bought the wrong boot. Because I went in there and I'll have a size 9 and they gave me a size 10. But it's been ideal, loads of comfort. The only other thing I have added actually is an insole. The little shoal insole, like comfort things. That's quite useful if you're doing a lot of standing around more than actually on your feet. So, for example, some of the Legion events where you're on stag, you're out in the street and you've got to just stop civilians from being a pain or anything like that, then generally I kind of whack an insole in there. Yeah, because they're not really a pain. They come up to you and they just want some sweets and
I'm just going back to Rage's comment there. So yeah, I bought size 10s, so straight in those lower Zephyrs, size 10. I wear a size 10 and bought a size 10, and I had no issues with them at all. Just a couple of comments there from Wayne that I've just noticed. So sounds like he's another one that's on his last event has been for a paddle in the river, but he also is another fan of Sema. So it's obviously another fan for that shop on the.
Oh, it's really good.
On the stream. So
again, we're not here to advertise. We're not paid to, advertise. If anybody wants to pay us to advertise, unfortunately, we won't accept it.
No, I mean, but like we say, if we find a good shop, we'll happily name them because it's try and test and it works, isn't it? So
that's what it's all about, mate.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's feet. That's feet covered.
Cover your feet.
Yeah, cover your feet.
Feet covered.
I think exactly as you say. I think you buy what you. I mean, looking at mine down there, wasn't me just totally ignoring everybody. you find something that works, don't you? And you tend to stick with it.
That's it, yeah.
You know, I was having a look at Mike's boots on Sunday. And I think Mike's here. I don't know if he wants to drop in the comments, Mr. Marden, what boots he runs. But I know, I mean, they're a sweet-looking pair of boots, and I know that they've served him well and kept his feet dry, and got great.
I think he's got Solomon's, isn't he? I think it's Solomon's he wears.
Is that what he's got? Is it?
I think it is. I might be wrong. Probably am.
But again, really nice boot. But I think my downfall with the first ones that I bought off of eBay, they're only a cheap boot, just a pair of black boots. But I'd literally, on the day that I went, got them out of the box and went. There was no sort of wearing them. Whereas obviously, the more that you do spend, I find that with these ones, I put these straight on and went, and there was no issues with them. But obviously, the cheaper ones that have come over from, wherever it might be, they killed me. Absolutely killed me.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy a cheap boot, you've got to expect it to be. And I'm not saying people have got to go out and spend hundreds of pounds on boots. I'm really not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if it's a company you've never heard of and it's a pair of boots you can get online for 20 quid or 25 quid, you'd sort of like. But having said that, if you can pick up a pair of ex-MOD boots that were at brand new 90 to 100 pounds, and you're picking them up for 25 quid that someone's worn for 6 months,
game on, mate.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
I'm all about saving some money.
Perfect. That's it, exactly, mate, and they work.
My missus hates the fact I've got second-hand boots. Oh, it's like I might as well have bought second-hand pants, I tell you. She absolutely hates it.
Each to their own on the pants front.
That's it, yeah. I don't mind second-hand pants. Socks, nah, I won't go near them. But
I draw a line at socks.
Yeah, socks. Yeah. Pants I can swallow there, but not swallow the pants.
Oh, so I think your webcam might have frozen, mate, just so you know.
Oh, is it? I wonder if it's because my battery is going to die.
You look like you're philosophically thinking about something.
Oh, probably not. Is it completely frozen, is it?
Yeah.
I think you've gone on. You're thinking about feet too much.
Right.
You've gone into that trance.
Could you excuse me for 30 seconds?
Yeah, you can drop out, mate, and drop on your phone. We'll have a look at some of the questions.
Drop me out for a second, Mike, if you don't mind. Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm back. All right. Good. If I completely drop out, then the phone has died. So just to let you know, all right. I do apologise.
Oh, so reading the comments, so Mike's got the Harkler GTX Trapper, fully waterproof, water resistant, can stand in a pool of water and still stays dry.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, there we go. So they weren't Solomon, so I told you I was wrong.
I mean, I'm glad you could just manage to pluck a name from somewhere. I was struggling. But they look like a really nice boot as well. But yeah, I think it might be something to try if you know that they're fully waterproof. It's a backup boot, but all the time I'm having no issues with mine. So
that's it, and it's good. We've all got different brands and things like that, and they all work for us, which is
exactly,
cool.
mate.
So do you two run them that one pair of boots? Do you run that summer, winter, whatever? You just run one pair of boots and that's it.
All I do is just have one pair of, like as I say, these super thick heat socks, the heat holders, and then in the summer, just give it. But I mean, you can't see my hand through these. They're still thick, but they're almost really like a decent thick sports sock, really, but just in black. But these ones are, Christ, if you wore these in the summer, you'd know about it. You'd
be chucking up, wouldn't they?
Well, you'd be toasty, mate. Let's just say that much. Your feet wouldn't be cold. But yeah, no. Other than that, that's it. I just run the same pair. No issues. But then I'll try and avoid the big muddy puddles. You wouldn't catch. I wouldn't be jumping in the trenches at Apocalypse. I just wouldn't anyway. But I'm sure there's things swimming in there, like you get in Star Wars in the waste pit.
I was in there on the Sunday.
But I think this is like Razor says, isn't it? The Gore-Tex is good up to the point that the Gore-Tex dies, right? And then that's your time to get new boots, I suppose.
I was going to ask you guys actually, how did the that second event go with defending or capturing the hostage or something?
Badly.
Oh, okay. Because obviously I had to go because I had work.
This is a story. This is a story. So right, so Lance is our team leader. For anyone on the chat that doesn't know, Lance is our team leader, and Lance had to go home. So I was left in command.
Like that.
No, but you had to leave. You had other things that you needed to do. It's fine. It's only on a skirmish, so I'd expect nothing less.
Lance just fucked off.
Yeah.
Lance fucked off.
Anyway, so I was left in command of our ragtag unit. And the mission was that the Punishers team, so there was about 11 or 12 of us, we would hold one of the marshals as a like hostage HVT type person in like a central stockade. We would have one life, and the entire blue team would be attacking us, whilst the red team then had to reinforce us from the other side of the map. So I was like, right, okay, that's fine. We had a little huddle up, worked out what we were going to do. Got to the point where you enter the game zone, and I thought I'll just test my gun. And it's very nicely been fixed by one of our teammates who runs as a tech. But I hit the trigger, and it just started playing a tune. There's something in the MOSFET or something like that when it's in programming mode, it sings to you. So I'm sitting there firing my LMG going, what is happening? Because it's just playing this little tune in its head. So I was like, right. So I sent the other guys up and I was like, right, I'll go and get like a backup gun. And my brother who's out, he's called Maggie because he always drops the magazines out of his rifles. Originally named.
No, I never knew that's why he was called Maggie.
He used to run a sling basically, and there was something on his plate carrier that would always knock the magazine eject button. So he was always dropping them, so that's why we call him Maggie. I'll tell you why I'm called 9-Volt another time. That's another story. Anyway, so I ran and grabbed his M14, but then I had to find a mag. The mag didn't have any ammo in it. There was no battery in the gun. I was like, really panicking. Finally got this thing sorted out. We got up there. The blue team, it was all hell broke loose. The blue team's attacking us. They've got 3 lives each. We're all, basically 1 shot, 1 kill. I got hit in the face. I don't know if you can see it. I've got a little bruise going on over here because I popped around the window.
Nice.
And yeah, we lost it quite quickly from all accounts. That being said, we did retake it again fairly quickly after that because it does make a massive difference when you've got 3 lives as opposed to 1 shot, 1 kill. But yeah.
Nice.
The thing is, as well, is that we sort of positioned ourselves. So you had, I think it was 10 of us. I think in the end, thereabouts.
Yeah, it was 11 nights ago.
You had people on the inside, and then myself and Mike Marden. So Mike had his SRS, so he was sniping on the outskirts. I was his support, and we were on the Bartertown edge of the stockade. Really, the Blues then, unbeknownst to us at the time, all started from Checkpoint Charlie, where the Reds, our team, had to come from the safe zone and charge up.
Checkpoint Charlie, for those that don't know, Apocalypse is about 5-10 meters away from the stockade, which is where we're hiding this HVT. Whereas the other side of the map is about 5-10 minute walk.
And then the other thing as well, which I did say to next thing you know, so there's another sniper in the woods. I don't know. I think his name might be John. Not sure. Scottish chap. Got a lovely Enfield sniper rifle that he has. So he was there as well. Next thing you know, Mike's got sort of lit up. They're already out, and I'm sort of putting some fire down as well. And they hadn't even called the game start. They just let them go. So I'm thinking, any minute now you're going to get the old 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 game on. You didn't get it. All of a sudden you had about, and bear in mind there was 200 people there that day. You had about 100 Blues just go, fuck you lot, we're coming. And then they were behind us, they were everywhere. So there's me, sort of tucked up with Mike, trying to take some people on. And then I just got lit up by a couple of rental guys behind that just, I think they deployed their entire Rambo package allocation of BBs up the kidneys.
We did have a little good contact.
It was good.
I think it was the first game, wasn't it, Mike? I think 6 of us peeled off out of our section. I think 6 of us peeled off because they were starting to get hit at the back of the stockade in that woodland. And I think it was 5 or 6 of us, went around there and had a 4-man sniper team. We managed to make mincemeat of them with about 5 minutes, I think, of getting around there, which was good. Yeah, we had good movements
We held the line just outside what was the old fuel dump. I don't know what it's called on No Man's Land, I think they call it now. But there was me, Mike's mate and his son and some other guys, and we just held them at the village. So they were pushing round to you. Obviously, you were having a scrap as well. We were holding them on
Yes,
that,
yes.
and they just took no ground.
No, that's it. I think from what you were holding them back, you were pushing them around towards Checkpoint Charlie in that little pillbox by the pine tree, and they were swinging around and coming down. Obviously, we were laid up in the tree line at the coppice side of the stockade. So we were there for a majority of that first game. That's when we just held that whole entire flank. And then, obviously, we peeled off to go around the back of the woodland as well to deal with the snipers and then come back round again, which was good. Yeah, it was some good movements there and good comms.
Yeah, definitely. That was good. A good outing. You've frozen up again on my screen, Lance.
Yeah, he's got his arm off.
Yeah, I think my battery is on its last legs, mate, if I'm honest.
Well, jump on. See what, Lance? You jump off and jump back on again.
Audio,
we'll go through the 24-hour food thing.
Well, okay. Okay, then, mate, cool. Give me 2 seconds, then I'll do that.
Yeah, no worries, mate. That was good crack. I enjoyed that. I know, Mike.
What do you think? So we obviously played it. I noticed that a lot of us, we were all moving in, proper sort of. I say proper formations, but like we like progressing through the forest in like a line. We then fanned out into an extended line and things like that. Do you think that that's? I don't know. Like I kind of felt a little bit like a knob at one point because there were a couple of guys that tagged on with us, and they were like all just clustered around chatting really loudly and stuff. And I was like, telling them, "Come on, guys, we need to keep it quiet. Watch your spacing and stuff like that." And I felt like the person that I didn't want to be for doing that. But do you think that that's fair? Like, I don't know. I sort of felt bad pointing it out.
It's a tough one. The thing is, and I'm by no way means, I'm not, skilled at any of this. I'm really not. But once you've done MilSims and once you've done battle sims, your operating level sits above naturally what you get at a skirmish. The guys at a skirmish, they're happy to rock up, shed 15,000 BBs and not think twice about it. Whereas we're going, right, we're here to test kit, we want to win, but we want to try and apply, we play as a team. Therefore, we're going to try and move in that formation. And you I think everyone has their own expectations. Whereas on a MilSim, I suppose, everyone's expectations is very much the same. So at a skirmish, you just got a mixed bunch. Did it work for us? So I tried to, I was just supporting Mike.
Sorry, Paul. I've just seen Wayne's classes as an elite sausage.
I think no, but I think if I tried to stay at least, around about 10 to 12 feet away from Mike Marden throughout the day. And he was taking people out with that. And the idea around that is that he's sniping, he's got his MP5 as a backup, and then I'm there with my HK416 if people get within the 30 metres and we need to support each other or get people back in. So that's the tactic that I was trying to play. And that's what I see our partnership within MilSims going forward as well. That kind of dual recon role or associated with you guys out with the Punishers. So I think, those are the routines that we try and embed as we go along. But obviously other guys, Mike's mate and his boy were there, and it was just, they were laying rounds down. They wanted to get their hits. They wanted to, take people out. And if you try and be too regimented, people are just going to look at you and think, but in our head, that's what we're there for. We pay our money. That's how we want to play. They pay their money. That's how they want to play.
I laugh at Wayne's comment, but I did feel a little bit elitist, and I hated myself for it. I really did, because I really don't want to be that person. But at the same time, it's not really from like a military representation. Like, I appreciate the whole kind of clustering up and stuff is, in a real world scenario, it's to space people out if something happens and you've got bodies spaced out, so it's not going to happen to a large bunch of people at the same time. But you're like, because you don't want them all to get shot at the same time, so it's just like space out.
Yeah, so I'd flip it totally differently, right? So, regards to the elitist thing, yeah. If you were standing there and you had a kid that had turned up to his second day and he's got a black and blue gun and his gun jammed, and he looked at you and you said to him, "Oh, fuck off, mate! You've not even got the right gun. Leave me alone." Absolutely. But I know for a fact you would, as I would, as Mike would, and any other guy that would probably ever be involved in these chats would down their gun, probably might even say, you hold mine and have a few shots of that while I try and fix yours. If not, I'll take you back to the safe zone, show you Brendan or, Mimsy or whatever if he's about, and go, can you help this lad out? And that's the difference between people that are elitist and people that, that are like us. We like being there. We like doing the roles. We like getting involved. We like the immersion that we get. But we're not going to turn our back on the younger generation that are trying to learn or get in the sport. That for me sums it up.
Yeah, no, good shout.
Yo,
if it was one of the other lot though, I'd tell them.
Yeah. Just a couple comments before we move on to the food. So Rage File is a different type of level at skirmish. People go for a scrap to skirmish. So being a bit tactical isn't a priority. That's his experience. Wayne says, to be fair, the more events I do, the more I prefer battle sims and MilSims for the way people play and act. So
exactly that's where I'm at, Wayne. I think a lot of us are the same.
Right, food. How did everyone do?
Glorious bloody food.
Food, glorious food.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I went first on the boots, so someone else jump.
It was my idea, so Mike can go first.
Right, hang on.
You're one I see. You can nominate him.
Cool. Does that work?
Ooh.
Nice.
Look at
Right,
that.
so this was my attempt at the £10 foods challenge. So we had to come up with a 24-hour, I guess, like military ration pack equivalent for those that haven't watched the last episode. You can also watch it now on YouTube if you want to go back and watch that. Little cheeky plug there. So what I came up with is I've got a little bit of a breakfast going on, a full Monty. One slight issue I did notice is that this one doesn't have a ring pole on it.
Oh.
So as part of this, I'm assuming that you've got a can opener.
If not,
like
put it on
a
the fire and it'll open itself.
Yeah. Or you can stab it with a knife or something like that. So you can get breakfast out of that. But I've got full breakfast in a tin. I've got beef curry. Now that is just beef curry. There's no rice or anything in there. So obviously, with the wet pack meals and things that you get in the proper MRE kits and things, obviously I think there's probably a lot more nutrition going on than in mine. 2 packets of chicken noodles, some hot chocolate. These things I specifically wanted to talk about. So this is called Swish to Go. I don't know if anyone's come across this. I think I've shown Lance before. It's basically a little powder, little tube of powder that you open one end and you pour it in your mouth. And then you kind of just swish it around, and it goes into like a liquid. Don't laugh. It goes into like a liquid. Yeah.
It's got a street value greater than £10. What we were supposed to be spending.
Oh yeah. So it turns into a liquid, and you vigorously swish around your mouth for 10 seconds, and then you swallow it.
Of course you do, love.
I can't believe you went there.
They're really good. Really good. I'm going to power through, but they are really good. So it helps clean your teeth. It gives you better breath, healthier gums, and it helps clean your teeth. So it's almost like a toothbrush-less cleaning system for your teeth.
It makes you not give a fuck about the next 24 hours as well.
Yeah. Rage Files just said, now we know what the tissues are for. So yeah, that's a Swish to Go. So I highly recommend that. I got those off of Amazon. You get like a pack of I think it's 20 or something like that.
I might give them a go actually.
So not bad. I'll chuck you guys some of these, and you can give these one a go.
Did you go onto Amazon to specifically look for them, or
yes.
did you go down? You went
no,
down
I did. So I actually stop laughing. I got given these. I got given a couple of these when I was at a wedding fair. So they're like one of their marketing things is that they give them out for like people that just want a quick freshen up of their breath, basically. And presumably on your wedding day, that's the sort of thing you want. So I didn't use them for that. I was like, oh, these would be banging for airsoft when I'm running around the woods. I want to really impress all the guys I'm with. I highly recommend those.
When you wake up in the morning after your wedding and your new wife is ready for seconds, use this sachet.
I wasn't giving them a massage parlour, thanks, Rager Far.
This is comedy gold.
Oh, giving them a massage parlour. Yes, that's exactly where he got them from. That's exactly where they came from.
Right, moving on. I've got some chewing gum. So I noticed that I did cheat with this a little bit, and I kind of had a look through one of the actual British MRE kits to see kind of what stuff they have. So chewing gum, some liquid jelly in a pouch, like a fruit smoothie. Paul, I noticed last week when we were talking about food kits and stuff, you said obviously creamer doesn't like help cool your tea down. So I went and bought a whole load of multi-packs of milk.
Nice.
So these are actually little tubes of milk.
What is it, like a UHT or?
Yeah. So it's got like a 2 or 3 year shelf life on those. I wouldn't have been able to do this, to be fair, without like multi-buying of stuff. So whilst this specific range of things was £10, I probably spent about 20 quid in total. On a
But
few
you
bits.
can make sort of multiple kits up now. Then I'm
Yeah.
guessing. Right.
2
okay,
days.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's fine.
And these are things, to be fair, that I am going to take with me. Some of these things, like the hot chocolate, especially because they're great. When you're MilSim, I've got a bit of Nutella. I wasn't really sure what to do with that, other than you can maybe dip your Ritz crackers in your Nutella.
Where'd you get that?
Again, that was, I think, something like 18p in Tesco's.
Mate.
It's literally a little tub of Nutella. 2 chocolate bars, some sweets, a packet of jerky, sugar, some cashew nuts, tissues for wiping your nose, or like poo tickets, as somebody quite helpfully pointed out on Instagram earlier. Little thing of pineapple juice as well. Ironically, after buying the pineapple juice, someone pointed out to me what pineapple juice has an effect on. Oh, hang on. So yeah, all of that, £10. That actually, in total, fits in a MRE box. So the same British Army MRE box, all fits nicely in there, and it only weighs 60 grams more than an actual MRE kit, the 24-hour one. So I was quite chuffed with myself on that front.
I suppose if you take the tin weight out of that as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was really worried that the tins were going to add loads of extra weight. Obviously, the jelly thing, there's a lot of extra packaging on there with like the tops of those and stuff. So, but no, I was quite chuffed with myself on that.
That's good. It's really weird because when you sent the photographs over the WhatsApp chat earlier on, I thought that was Lance's. It's really weird. So we didn't tell each other whose was who. So you sent me the 2 pictures. Oh, can you send me through yours, Paul? And I thought that was Lance's, purely based on the fact that there was the 2 juicy jellies in there. And I know you mentioned the fruit things.
Well, yeah. So I sort of put this kit together based on what you guys had said. So, for example, Paul, you were sort of saying about the milk. So I went and got some milk sachets. Lance mentioned about the jelly pouches and the jerky. So I was like, I've got to get some of that in there. And it's interesting. It's quite sweet. I don't think this is a very nutritious pack because I'm quite a sweet person.
You'd be buzzing off your tits on it, wouldn't you?
I know, right? You eat all of that. That's 24 hours of sugar right there. That's quite.
I'll do the 14-hour stag, boss. I'll do it. 14 hours. Yeah, no problem, boss.
Where are they?
Oh, right. Let's jump on to Paul's. How do I do that? Hang on a second.
Oh, hello.
2 secs. Should work.
It's all very modern, isn't it, this podcast chat thing?
I know. What's that all about?
Well, you say that. It's not. Is it working?
No.
No.
Basically, that's my ration pack. I haven't got any because I'm on a diet.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Wallop.
Get in, eh? Do you like that?
So,
All
Paul,
right,
I'll move my cursor along if you want to talk about things.
I'm just grabbing the meals actually. So, essentially, the meals across the top. So, depending on what we're up to, depending on the weather, if I'm going out in the cold, then I'd like 3 hot meals. Or if there's going to be the opportunity to get it, just depending on what we're doing. So these are the Wayfarer meals. So I've got an all-day breakfast, I've got a chicken tikka, and then I think the other one's like a curry with potatoes, chicken curry, potatoes, or something like that. So the reason that I put 3 of them in, and this does come in within the 10 quid, on Millets, which is where I got these from, they've always chucking deals out on these. So I think these are normally 5 quid each. And I bought these in a bit of a block when I got an email from them. I subscribed to them, get an email through about deals. They were half price, so $2.50 a pop, and then they were giving you another 20% off on top of the sale price as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, just grab them. And I've never used these ones, the Wayfarer ones. I've used the MREs before, the US and the Brit ones. And then one of the guys at Legion said about these ones and said that they're cheap, just as cheap, but they're really nice to eat.
They're delicious, mate. They're the best I've ever tasted.
Yeah, so I've got 3 of those in there. So that's my 3 square meals really. And then as we go down, the middle row is just really my drinks. So they were the coffees, which is the 3-in-1s. That's basically you get them from the pound shop. I think they're a packet of 8 or a packet of 6 for £1. So decanted that out. I'm crap at maths, but called that, whatever, 70p, 80p, or whatever you want to play. The other bit in the middle is like a mint chocolate, hot chocolate sachet, which is the brown one there. The one next to that is like a raspberry mineral drink, a Capri Sun next to that. So that's liberated from the cupboard at home, because that's what the kids take in their packed lunch. And the only one that I've slipped in as a bit of a cheat, but really just to show if you've got a 500ml bottle of water with you, that's like a mineral energy sort of drink sachet on the right hand side there.
Okay.
Next row down, so left to right, so blue ribbons. Literally got those delivered with my shopping this week. So Asda's are doing them at the minute. 16 blue ribbons for £1. So 2 of those, a little booster there. And then again from like the sort of Tesco, went and picked the other bits of shopping up, because they'd not sent everything with the online shop. So that's like a little fruit bar in the kids sections there, which are peanuts to buy, sort of 15p. And then there was a multi-pack of the sesame seed sort of what they bars or whatever it is, and they were 5 packs for £1. Next to those, just chewing gums. So there are a couple of packs of chewing gums that were left from MREs beforehand. So I've just chucked those in. The 3 white packets there are basically what you get from KFC. Sort of a lemony sort of toilette thing that you can clean your hands with after, or want to wipe yourself so you don't get crosshairs, then you can use those. The brown sauces, the brown sauces are liberated from Costa. So whenever I go and have a cheeky toasty, or I used to before the diet, I'll catch up, would you like? I'll have a red and a brown, and I'll pocket the brown, because then they can go in any of those meals at top. And then a packet of wipes. So they're just tissues. Everyone's got them in their cupboard. And the only assumption with this, if anything, is assuming that I would have equipment for lighting, I'd have some toilet roll anyway from home, just rolled up in a sandwich bag to keep dry. And I usually take a very small, thin packet of baby wipes. But that is more than enough. Surprising I don't eat loads. I know it looks quite a bit in there, but I don't eat loads when I'm out.
That's fair enough, mate. That's perfect. If that covers you for 24 hours, then bob on.
Exactly that, and that's
3 square
under
meals and your drinks.
That's the tenner.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't eat half of the stuff that I packed in that meal kit, just because I don't generally tend to eat a lot when I'm actually on the MilSim.
No.
Same as that, really, and I just wanted to use the tenner's worth up.
Yeah.
But so I'd always try and have the breakfast. The lunch would be the one that might go, because if you're doing obs or anything like that, that'll be a blue ribbon and a hot chocolate, or sweets on the go or whatever, and you bounce off each other, didn't you? So if I had a couple of blue ribbons when I was doing the last MilSim with Richie Bear, I chucked him a bar of chocolate at one point, and then later on in the day, he chucked me a Tunnocks wafer back, and we just sort of split it out.
That's it, mate. Exactly. Yeah, perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah, good.
Ooh.
Right, so what we've got here is I'll do my 2 main meals again. Wayfarer ball in the bag meals. I think I've got a all day breakfast and a burger and beans, I believe it is.
Oh,
yeah, which is again, perfect. No worries at all. They're tried and tested. I love them. They're really nice.
Them beans will keep your old sleeping bag warm, won't they?
They certainly will, mate. Yeah. And if I'm sitting down, the lower back as well when it shoots out the top of the trousers. A couple of 3 little miniature packets of Haribo. This is like some pound shop stuff, so you can get 10 packets of Haribo minis for £1. So again, pop 3 of them in there, little sugar hit sort of thing. Beneath them, I've got my 6 3-in-1 New York coffees, which I love. They're amazing. I have them at work like a couple of times a night. I'll have a little sachet in my thermos flask.
Where are they from, buddy?
Do what, mate?
Where are they from?
They're from the pound shop, so you can get a box of 12 or a packet of 12 of those sachets for £1.
Because I have like the Nescafe ones, but to be fair, sometimes I don't know. I'm not a mega fan of the Nescafe flavour.
Try to get them ones, Paul, mate. Because I used to get the Nescafe 3-in-1s, and I found these in the 99p shop or pound store, whatever it is, and they are absolutely magic.
Nice,
really cracking coffee they are. So I've got 6 of them for me hot bevy sort of thing, for me hot brew. Above that, I've got a couple of chicken and mushroom cuppa soups. Again, a multi-pack, so I think you've got 3 in a box for £1, so there's a couple there, sort of 33.3p, whatever it is for each of them. Next to that, I've got behind all those smaller bits there, I've got a couple of clear Ziploc bags just for any rubbish or anything you want to keep in there. So inside the usual British ration pack, you'll get a clear bag for rubbish disposal or any bits and bobs you want to keep wrapped up and ditch the box. You can chuck it all in there and keep it all safe. So I've got a couple of clear bags there. I think you can get 30 pinch shut bags or freezer bags for £1 or something like that. So I've got a packet of them. So I've got some spares. And on top of that, obviously, you've got a couple of packs of chewing gum, a pepper army, a lighter, a couple of packs of biscuits. And where I couldn't get hold of any high street sort of salt replacement drinks or isotone drinks that were worth getting for the end of price range, I've got one of the Robinson's fruit squirts, so you can literally it's like very concentrated orange. You
get a lot out of those, don't you?
Yeah, and you can just blast a bit of that into a cup of water or into your canteen or your water bottle, and you can flavour your water up with that. So that was the idea behind the little Robinson's fruit squirt. Bottom left, you've got a pack of baby wipes there, or everyday wipes just for cleaning yourself up before eating or whatever, and the old beef jerky in the bottom corner there. And I think I did have to ditch a pepper army and something else out of there because it came in at £11 3p. I had to ditch a couple of items out to bring it underneath the tenner, but I got there in the end. I've got proof of my daughter's workings out with the multi-buys on the back of my receipt.
Yeah.
So, a lot of that stuff is from Poundland, so you know, Poundland there.
I like the. I did have to ditch a couple of items. I ditched the pepperoni. I ditched the tomahawk steak.
Yeah. And the fondue set. But yeah, no,
I do love it. Someone's just told me that I'm a flashback to the 80s because I've got a blue ribbon in my in my red bag.
I was thinking about putting a bottle of Blue Nun in mine, but I don't think that goes down well.
I'm 44. You've got to let me have the blue ribbon.
I'll just
wondering now whether we could actually survive on them for 24 hours, even if we weren't at an event, just throughohout the day.
We'll take them into work on Monday.
I'd be on fire. I'd just be running around like a hummingbird.
You'd be like the angry German guy just marching down the street.
Let me just run through some of the comments quick because I'm conscious of the fact we're a little bit over on time.
That's unlike us, that is.
So Ragefar, good plan is to buy those thick sealable freeze bags, decant them into them, and then you can cook them like the boiling bags. So that was in reference to the tins. Obviously,
would them bags survive a boil up though? Would they, or
I don't know. He said thick ones.
I'm going to
defer to the fact that he's had some good advice so far, so I'll give it a go. I'll try that one out. He said, he said he does it with rice pudding when he goes climbing out in the hills.
Oh, so, there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good tip, mate. Nice one.
Yeah. What else we got? Blue Ribbon makes me feel old. Proper 80s snack right there. Decathlon. This is from Wayne. Decathlon do a lot of energy powders and proteins. There's Lucozade tablets as well from Ragefar. Yeah.
Must admit, the Lucozade, those dextrose tablets. I know this is totally aside from that, but with 4 kids in now, every time my other half's gone into the hospital and had one of our kids within a maternity bag, she always packs 2 or 3 packs of those dextrose tablets.
I really wonder where you were going with that.
Honestly, mate, they get you. They lift you back up when you're in your boots and you need something just to pick you up a little bit.
Was it like a Barocca sort of thing? Is it, or?
Yeah, they are. They're just like a little square, almost like this is going to throw me back. Dare I say it, like an opal fruit? That'll probably get me shotted down like me blue ribbon.
Yeah.
Starburst to you young'uns.
Marathon.
They're about the same size as a Starburst.
Oh, okay.
And you stick them in and you chomp them down, and they're just a dextrose tablet, taste of orange or blackcurrant or whatever, and they give you a bit of a pep. So it's a good shout on those.
So when we're next out, try some of those.
Yeah,
I'm just anything sugar, mate. I've got it. I've got the sugar.
Let's get involved.
Right, so we'll finish up, guys. All of these will be. Let's make this interesting. I'm going to put a poll on our Facebook page, so feel free to head over there, and you'll be able to vote as to which one you think is the best, or which one would you prefer. Let's say that, because it doesn't have to be necessarily the best. Because I think we all did quite well.
I think so, yeah, with what you can get on High Street, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know?
It's personal preference, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
there's only certain things you can buy that are nutritional value for under a tenner. That's got to last you a whole day. And sort of try and get 3 square meals with your snacks and wets and that in between it. So the only constant across all 3 of them, all day breakfast.
And no vegetarian meals. You notice they're all meat meals. Anyway, so guys, if you want to head over to Facebook, then feel free to vote on the poll. I'll set that up afterwards. I don't know, guys, if you want to go through anything in more detail, but there'll also be the pictures on the guys' Instagrams as well. If you want to have a jump on there and you can ask any questions and things. In the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe this video as well as follow some of the other ones. If you hit the little bell notification on YouTube, you get notified when we go live. Similarly on Facebook, if you want to follow us on there, I think you get a notification on there as well. Tell your friends. We've hit about 4 or 5 followers on this, but it's really good. I'm really enjoying the interaction that we've got from our regulars on here.
That's cool. Early days, but it's getting there, so it's exciting.
Yeah. Apparently, Paul wins according to Ragefile because of the blue ribbons. I'm last because of the dodgy mouthwash. It's not dodgy mouthwash.
Mate, blue ribbons all the way.
One thing I didn't throw in there, just very quickly, is I did get some cheeky sweet and sour tubs and things.
Piss off. You can't start adding stuff after.
No, I'm not adding to it now, but I did get these from McDonald's, and I wasn't sure about adding them or not.
I think the problem we're going to have one week is there'll be no broadcast there because we've all been nicked. So where is everyone from November Foxtrot? They've all been arrested because they've been nicking stuff out of Costa, KFC, to try and make a 24-hour Rat Pack.
There's
only one person that's been nicking stuff from Costa and KFC.
Yeah, they give you these if you ask for them.
They probably give you the ketchup, to be fair, but I feel more cheeky nicking it.
Just see Paul's hand going through the drive-through window, just going on the plunger into a car.
Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Feel free to get involved. Give us a shout. Next week, what are we talking about next week? Winter wear, isn't it? Was it winter wear?
I think winter kit. Yeah, your base layers like that. Things to see you through, sort of like a winter weekend away, sort of thing like that. You're outdoors and thermal base layers and bits and bobs like that.
Nice.
I get my little special hat.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, Captain Condom will be making an appearance next week.
Yeah. We'll deal with that one then. Right.
Comes to it.
See you later, everyone.
Cheers guys. Be safe.
Set up.